Cool. Let's do it. Hey, everybody. Jimmy from Superpath here today with Allie Decker from Omniscient Digital. Allie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I feel like we've run in the same circles for quite a while, but I've
Yeah.
never officially met. So it's great
Okay.
to make that happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Basically.
so you're the head of content at Omniscient. You're hiring for a managing editor and operations lead, which we'll talk about specifically. But first, could you just, if we zoom out a little bit, tell us about Omniscient? Who is it? What is it? Who's it for?
Yeah. So the easiest way to define Omniscient is that it's a content marketing agency. It's a small team, so we're very nimble, and that will definitely come into play when we get into the job specs. But we work with SaaS companies and some e-commerce companies to create content strategy for their site and their blog, and then we execute on that strategy. Um, and basically just create some awesome content that drives traffic and conversions.
That's really cool. I feel like this is assumed most of the time these days, but remote, full, are you guys fully remote?
Fully remote. Yeah. Yeah. We're
Okay,
all dispersed. We've got Boston, Austin, and Chicago for the main people, and then a few people across the world as well in India and Thailand.
cool. That's awesome. So this particular role, managing editor slash operations lead, like can you like describe it? Like, what is it? What is this job?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, we've been a small team for a long time. We're used to functioning at a pretty quick pace, but we have been growing at a speed that we really need to bring in someone to help us play kind of this bridge role between when we build strategy and then execute with our writers and our writing team. So the title managing editor and ops lead, it's really more of an emphasis on like the managing and the editor parts. Ops is in there because I'd love someone who also has oversight on process, is kind of comfortable in chaos, but everything they do, they dictate. So it becomes more of a playbook, but it's more of a fluid playbook. Like we're really not in a place to kind of etch into concrete yet, but process is how we grow and it's how we scale and eventually grow our team as well. So ops, I included that in the title because I want someone kind of ops minded, but the managing part is managing kind of, like I said, the bridge between strategy and execution. And then the editor, we love someone with SEO and content chops, someone that has both that editorial eye on pieces and can also kind of look over stuff for SEO. It's hard at the stage, which I'm sure, Jimmy, you've been here before, like creating a very solid job description, knowing that like it's going to change. So I'm going to speak to what we need right now. And thankfully, like everyone in our circle that we run with and we talk to on Twitter and stuff, like I think everyone has that mindset of like, I'm going to do the do, right? Like I'm going to do what needs to be done. This is where I play, but I don't mind coloring outside the lines. So we're kind of hoping to have someone like that. But this job description is kind of the best we can do at the moment to tell this person, here's what we need you to do. And hopefully you're okay growing with us as well.
Yeah, that's cool. That sounds exciting. I mean, I can tell you from my experience joining Animals pretty early on when the team was small that you sort of ended up doing a lot of everything.
Yeah.
That was really the best part because you got to like, I mean, speaking only for myself, like I learned so much. I got to learn about, in that case, everything from like how to manage the team to how to manage clients to how to sell to, process and analytics and like just so many things. And definitely find that as folks post jobs on our job board for roles like this, whether it's kind of like a head of content lead, managing editor, these roles tend to be like some blend of like expertise in your craft, like some background as a solid writer and content marketer, and then kind of layering on these other things like process, some people management, some vendor management, some strategy, some edit, like so many different things. So
yeah.
Do you have a sense for like who this person is, or maybe like what they've been working on for the past couple of years that will have prepared them well?
I see an editor of a publication or a blog being a good person for this role, in that they've had their hands on the content, but they've also been able to zoom out and they've been responsible for like a larger picture as well as people management, both in like employee and vendor slash client. That's not a hard and fast thing, but this person will be client facing. So we need someone who's at least willing to kind of hone that confidence, hone that skill. I was not very good at that when I started. I was very like nervous. So we all know what it takes to grow into the being comfortable with those conversations. But at the end of the day, yeah, someone who has kind of got their hands dirty, but is able to zoom out and have a large scale kind of viewpoint of how everything works together.
Yeah.
So in terms of defining it by a certain job title, I think editor is where I would probably start, but it's certainly not like a requirement.
Yeah. Are there certain things as part of the application process that you're looking for? Writing, I mean, I assume like more than a resume beyond that, like writing samples or, other examples of like actual work they've done.
I would say, yeah, writing samples or pieces of content that you've had a hand in producing. So whether you've like led interviews for a thought leadership piece or edited those pieces or kind of done like end-to-end production stuff. We'd love to hear about like times that if you were client facing, whether as an individual, like freelance editor or freelancer or on a team, situations that you had to set a process, come into a space that didn't have a process, didn't have like any sort of rules, and you kind of created them and what that was like. I don't want these things to only be in regards to like a writing project. We all have different like projects that we've worked on. So more it's just stories and experiences. And we have some questions in the application that you can write it out. And then we'll also talk through this stuff in our interviews as well.
Okay, cool. And will this person report directly to you?
Yes.
And I feel like I always should ask this. Remote means truly remote. Like some companies are sort of limited to like US or Canada, but it sounds like you all are truly remote.
At the time right now, we are remote worldwide. This role, we're going to really lean heavily into like the US and North America. That's because we're scaling in a different direction than we have recently. Gotcha. And so we're going to start with folks like that. Feel free to still apply, but it's just in a place where we're kind of dotting our I's and crossing our T's. We're in that growing phase where we just have to start coloring inside the lines a little bit more. And I think keeping folks domestic will help us do that, especially if we're going to, full time, all of the stuff that comes along with that. So preference on US based.
Okay. Got it. Anything I should have asked you about this role that I didn't? Anything you want to highlight?
I guess I want to really lean into the fact that like, this will definitely be a very fluid role. What's in the job description will for sure be part of what you do the day to day. But the best way I can define people who succeed in this company, I think this applies to a lot of companies because I've learned about it too, is no perfectionism. Really, we don't have time for that. And I'm really speaking to like me 3 years ago, right? And also a lot of like initiative, a lot of just like trying and failing. And I want this person to feel comfortable teaching us what they know as well, even if they might not like have been around as long as we have or worked in this industry or whatever. Like we really look forward to learning about what this person can bring to the table, whether or not they've even worked in content before. Ideally they have, but that's what we've kind of done, is just open the scope of this organization and just tried to learn from each other. So I look forward to whoever comes in to just be comfortable sharing their thoughts, correcting us if we're wrong, pushing back on things that might have been pre-established, because I know, we're not always right. We just have been doing what we're doing, and clearly we are about to scale even bigger. And so we're looking for some new opinions and ideas there too.
Cool. I love it. I will throw out to people who are thinking of applying. If you're kind of on the fence, just do it. If you want a kick, shoot me a DM in Slack. I will give you that little push to go and actually do it. If you want me to look at writing samples, I'll do it. I think this is a super cool role. Really excited to help you guys find somebody.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I appreciate you taking the time to do this, Allie. It's a huge value add to our folks to get to meet you and learn a little bit more about Omniscient. So your time is much appreciated.
Just a last note too. If what you are interested in doesn't align in this role, please still introduce yourself. Like we have new roles that we're planning out for like the back half of next year, and we really want to get bigger and grow wider in scope as well. So maybe this role isn't what you're looking for, but we would still really like, me personally too, to widen the scope of my network and folks that can support us, work for us or with us. So just, say hi, even if this isn't the role for you.
I love it. I appreciate you saying that. And listen to Allie do that.
Awesome.
Cool. Awesome, Allie. Thanks so much. Look forward to sending some folks your way here.
Thanks.
Take care.